Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Toku Portal podcast for Kaitou Sentai LupinRanger versus Keisatsu Sentai PatoRanger. I am Vashi V, and joining me today are...
Dedicate.
And rejoice! We have another.
reasons.
Match in his.
And on the police station, is surprised that they're because this is her substitute.
Like you said, I like that initiative, but we're and so I'm glad she's not a workaholic. At least there's the.
Understanding that um, Su-
Technically. So I cut to get the episode. Recognizes Angler as Nayo Kappa. They clearly don't like each other. As a shinobi, Nayo has no desire to succeed Degranio, but wants to take Gosh's place by his side. Yeah, what did you guys think of that?
Bad guy cat fights. I like it. Plus, I like the idea of a monster that knows her limits, Like, she doesn't want to join the rat race and try to surpass her grand because, one, she knows what she's up against, and two, that just doesn't interest her. I like that she has different priorities. Like, she wants Gosh's spot instead. That's a nice variant. It shows that not all of De Grandio's gang is so watertight knit together. I really like that. And I like her design, and it's besides Gosh, it's not a female villain.
like I liked it because it treated this as what we had commented on at the beginning of the series. It feels like a typical mob family in the aspect of everybody's going to have their own little drive and aspirations within the group. It's like not everybody's going to strive to be the Don. I also did like the fact that while Don accepted her odd request to not be his replacement, he did point out that if she did, succeed in taking over the world, that she would choose his replacement as well. That was a nice little touch.
For sure. So let's see. Juror is closed for today. Toma tells Kairi because they won't get any work done without Umika. She had something important to do today. Tsukasa is in line at a ticket booth, excited to win a stuffed animal from an event. Umika is here for the same event, However, the single tickets are sold out, so they must work as a pair. And then we get a pretty fun montage of them enjoying the park. The last stop on their ticket is the haunted house. And Tsukasa offers to hold Umika's hand if she's scared, which she clearly isn't. Thoughts?
Oh my god, I love this. I mean, it makes sense for Tsukasa to want to just see what she can win, and of course, it's a stuffed animal. I love Toma just how blunt he is. Like, let's face it, without Umika, we're not getting anything done, so why bother? And, I mean, I like the idea of them teaming up without even realizing it in more ways than one. Just them going around having fun, that was really sweet. And the moment with the haunted house was kind of funny, too.
Like yeah, like this entire section was just fun. Like seeing the fact that like Umika knew more of what they were in for in terms of like the rides they had to ride and all that over Sukasa. That was a nice little thing, and it went back and forth too because it was the first one that Sukasa ended up doing the ride. So it was a nice touch for like the little back and forth for of trying to show their strengths at the same time. And then the fact that the cafe is literally shut down, I think, is amazing. Is it does show the fact that without Umika, there's nothing to be done because we know Kyrie can't do it because, well, let's face it, Kyrie won't do it. And the fact that this is the first time that it's been somebody other than Kyrie who's left the shop, because usually it's Kyrie who's out and about and they're still running. So it's a nice little touch to show just how important Umika is to the restaurant. So I liked it.
Yep, so true. So let's see. Tsukasa is terrified by the first scare in the haunted house and rushes off with Umika. Umika remembers her friend, Shiho, being the same way, and kind of unconsciously comforts Tsukasa. It's pretty sweet and kind of sad. Naya puts a barrier around the park to keep her victims and visitors out. Her first target is the haunted house. Umika tells her often here to get the plushie that Shiho liked. Two men collapse in front of them, and one tells them that they were attacked by a gangler. Tsukasa tells Umika to hide while she handles it. Umika has to stop her from destroying the piece, so she goes to find a disguise. Tsukasa Keisatsu changes and fights Nayo. Umika returns in her impromptu disguise, which is actually pretty nice. And the other rangers head to the park. Thoughts?
Competent bad guy, cute comedy, good rehashing of backstory, and a good disguise for Umika. I really love this.
Like I like the fact that it brought back Umika's backstory a little bit more. With the whole haunted house thing is like to have her have that reaction because of Tsukasa was a nice touch. It adds for a little bit of bonding towards the two of them, and the fact that I do like Umika having to go find a costume. I I can ask wherever she's at, but having like obviously needing to change clothes for this particular instance was a nice touch that they paid attention to that. Um, Also, very bad luck on the Ganglish part to have this great competent plan and then just have shitty ass luck by going to the one place that the Rangers were at.
Yeah, it's definitely why the Lupin Rangers just have more in terms of character because it's not just, oh, we lost someone and that's it, but we continue to see how it's affected, how that person they lost affected each of them. Toma, Kairi, Umika. Pretty damn good.
This wasn't that bad for Tsukasa's side of it though.
Oh, for sure.
Like, because they added into the fact that entire situation affected her too, and affected the police in the aspect of we don't want something like this to happen again. You know, it's like it's starting to lay the groundwork for them to at least cooperate a little bit more.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to the next episode. So let's see. Yellow joins the fight, but her and Sango are defeated after having their arms chained together, and they barely escape. Ichigo and Nigo are unable to break the barrier, and then we cut back to the girls. Tsukasa is reluctant, but she comes up with a plan to separate them. But her leg is injured. She's determined to fight through the pain to save the citizens. She doesn't want more victims. The thieves help the police break the barrier with the cyclone finisher and run ahead. Literally Mario hop off of their heads. Pretty great. Thoughts?
Well, get on the PatoRangers for trying to help, and get on the thieves for coming up with the idea. And like you said, Decade, I love the Mario hop. Tsukasa, yeah, it's typical of her character to do that. I thought that was a good moment for her, and I feel like this and the scenes to come really illustrate the competence of these teams. Like, what I mean by that is they've shown the strengths and weaknesses of both teams, no matter what arguments you may make. And I feel like this is another moment that these teams, despite being on opposite sides of the law, they do have their similarities, and they can at least come to a compromise at the very least. And I feel like this was a good illustration of that. And I understand Tsukasa didn't exactly have the greatest of circumstances, but she still did acknowledge the fact that, okay, I can't do this myself, whether I like it or not. I have to work with you. And that could lead to other stuff that I hope they cash on. So good on them. This was a good setup for the fight.
Like, seeing the drive that Tsukasa had was fantastic. It was really touching the way they did her explaining that she didn't want something like what happened with Umika to happen to anybody else. And then at the same time as she's giving that speech, she's coming up with plans and ideas. It shows very, very good thought for her, not only as a Sentai member, but also as a police. Is basically her job. That's not to say Umika and them are doing it for funsies, because let's face it, they're not. But it shows a level of intelligence that at least the PatoRangers have towards what they do, and it's a very, very well done piece. And the LupinRangers using Cyclone, that was a nice touch. I like the fact that it combined with what the PatoRangers finishing move, and to take the Mario comparison even further, they basically jumped on because they jumped on. I thought that was just it was one of those, like, it took me until you said Mario jumped on them to go, wait a minute, red, green, and they both have hats. The only thing that would have made it better is if it would have made the boing noise.
I have a feeling that they would have gotten sued if they used it, though.
Probably, but it would have been worth it.
For sure. So let's see. Tsukasa and Umika work together, so Nayo ends up slicing through the chain. Tsukasa refuses to high five and says she was just using Umika, Umika says that maybe she was doing the same. It's just a cheeky moment. Kaito and Keisatsu change. Pretty awesome. We get the opening, just like as an instrumental. We get an intense fight, during which Yellow uses Sango as a human shield against Nao's attack, and she's knocked out of her form. However, Nao is shot in the back by Tsukasa and is shot again in the safe after Umika steals her collection piece. Tsukasa explains that Umika shielded Sango with her thief mask, which is, I guess, made out of metal or something really tough. She pressed it to her chest. Blue pulls Yellow out of the way of the scissors finisher, which slices through Nio like butter. And I said this earlier, this is probably one of the most badass moments in Sentai, period. And I'm kind of surprised they even used like a black sort of blood effect. But damn, that was awesome. Thoughts?
Dude, you pretty much summed it up for me. I have no complaints with this fight. This was so fucking awesome.
Like this was purely amazing, and I love when they do these type of girl power episodes, especially when they're very, very well done like this. I wasn't expecting Umika to use Tsukasa as a human shield, but with the way it played out, it's like, okay, that makes sense. Okay, I get it now. It was just all play. The only part of this that confuses me is the mask itself, beyond the fact that it's apparently made of metal or something. But how did it go from outside the suit to inside the suit and inside her shirt? These are questions that we will never get the answer to, I'm sure. But other than that, this was just purely badass. 100%.
Yeah, I don't think anyone saw that coming. Definitely not your average girl power episode. So let's see. Yeah, the explosion knocks Tsukasa out. The Granio wants to give Nayo another chance. Gosh happily agrees, just to make Nayo angry. And when Nayo turns giant in the background, she's really humiliated and frustrated that Gosh saved her. So Lupin Kaiser deploys because obviously Tsukasa's out. And we get the Lupin Kaiser theme. It's pretty good. We can actually hear more of it this time around. And she's defeated using the Cyclone vehicle and Lupin Kaiser Knight. Pretty fun mech fight. Umika arrives at Juror, and the police are already there. Tsukasa is embarrassed that she passed out before completing the challenge, but Umika brought one of the stuffed animals for her. However, Tsukasa is horribly disappointed that it was the cute bread plushie and not the other one, which was a weird pig with a potato head holding a French fry. Episode end. Thoughts?
Meh. I own and have seen weirder stuffed plushies than that. Well, maybe she wanted more variety.
Like, the mech fight and the fact that basically Goody didn't have a choice because Tsukasa was injured. And I like the fact that they are doing we have more than one mech to add to the giant mech, because that's the way it at least through Sentai Pass has been here lately, to where, oh, we have a new upgrade, we're just going to use that and ignore what we already have. So the fact that they used Cyclone and Blade and Scissors in tandem was a nice touch, and I enjoyed it. And yeah, Tsukasa's taste for plushies very much is a ranged thing. Because I guess her definition of cute is a little skewed. But all in all, it's like this just was fun all the way around.
Well, that was the end of the episode. Final thoughts. I really enjoyed this episode. It's definitely nice seeing more backstory. The fight was, like I said, one of the most badass Sentai fights, especially for a girl power episode. It's awesome. And I'm looking forward to next week.
As you probably guessed, I wholeheartedly enjoyed this episode. But as much as I am in the LupinRanger camp, I am looking forward to next week, seeing. Let's just say I'm starting to see a bit more Tomika Hero coming out of these guys. I get the feeling next week's gonna cater to that.
Like, all in all, this episode was perfectly done. Because a lot of the female power episodes in the past didn't really focus on the girls outside of the fight. So the fact that this was pretty much just in Umika and Tsukuyomi was amazing. And in terms of like levels of badass, I don't think there's been one, at least in main Sentai history, if at all. If you're excluding like the Girls in Rescue or whatever it was, the Space Squad movie, which that was but television. So that I haven't seen any a much needed change and needs to be a thing that continues in the future, in my opinion. So on that note, I guess that's everything. So thank you all for joining, unless anybody else has something else to add. We'll be back tomorrow for the Common Writer Build podcast, and then next week for Super Sentai again. Thank you all for joining us.
Thanks for listening.
Adieu, and later, taters.